Hello, I think I am live. It's been a long day, hence why you're not getting webcam. I've barely just set up again. I had to re-plug in all my laptop and stuff that I use for like holding my streaming stuff, so it took a while. Yes, I am just back off of All In London, so I had 2 days in London, technically Saturday, Sunday, travel home day today, which took longer than expected because I got delayed, which is never a good sign. I had to wait an extra hour or two because my train that I was on got delayed 20 minutes, and that meant that I missed my connecting train back to where I live. So yeah, that meant that I had to wait an extra hour. In the station. So I've just eaten my dinner and my brain is slightly well, frazzled right now. Just gonna put some nice music on. Hopefully that is adequate enough. I have had headphones in all day, so let me just give a quick check ski of the volume. Now, as I said, anyway, don't know why I listened to that. That was weird. FNATIC MDK tonight. The full best of 5. There we go. Okay, I can hear myself clearly. Full best of 5 tonight. I'm in a righteously good mood to cover everything. I'm also trying a different setup with the webcam not being on. It means that I have a bit more access to my PC, including my actual PC's keyboard. So it's a lot crispier and easier for me to use, so I can do cooler things accessing this pretty easily. And yeah, it's weird that. Why does this one not have the thing? Anyway, I will be, well, I guess, fielding all in questions, question mark. I don't know if anyone really cares other than me. But it's a fun little thing. It was a great evening. As I say, so many surprises, so much actual joy I garnered from it. But yeah, into MDK FNATIC tonight. MDK are on blue, FNATIC are on red. And immediately, Aziz removed, expect, yeah, Lilia. That's an old Elioya classic, but this is the first time we're actually seeing this series this year. I know there's been a lot of series throughout 2024 that have been very much repeats, and it's been kind of hard to get unique matchups. But this one as a whole is unique, and with how the meta has evolved into ADC meta, pretty much across every lane, and with how MDK did against G2, looking at this matchup as a whole, it's an out and out banger, and the flexibility of MDK can really showcase a lot of their strength since their boot camp in Madrid. So, priority on MF. They're kind of similar to G2 in prioritizing this pick. It's just an all-round very strong champion right now. Similar to Kaiser in a sense that she has AP ratios in a couple of her abilities, and with the fact that obviously AP is a dime a dozen nowadays, having a champion that can just go like bullet time and kill people with that ulti, make it rain, having that little AP burst, it's an out and out good champion, especially considering she does scale mostly off of AD. Now, the response from FNATIC, they get the Vi, which is a good lockup of the MF and kind of provides an out and out counter to the bullet time, where you cease and desist her, and then you can obviously go in with some haymakers of your own and just punish her that way. Corki, again, this used to be the out and out AP pick, but now fully AD, still strong because that poke sticks like a truck. And yeah, interesting to see Rel has had 100% pick ban ratio throughout, I'm presuming, the entirety of season finals. Strong engage, it pairs up well with the Vi and going deep to allow for champions to essentially poke and harass down the enemy team. Now, looking at MDK's comp, double ADCs for Scowy probably will be piloting the Ezreal, MF going into Super's hands. That Maokai technically is the flex, but I typically expect that to go into Alyoya's hands. You just have an actual really strong combination here. It's the grasp of the bullet. What is Ezreal's True Shot Barrage? That's it. That's a very strong combo. I'm actually surprised. Well, no, actually, it does make sense. Koi banning the cannon. The Braum Leona bans removes the safe defensive and or tankier options in the bot lane, kind of leading towards more of a Nautilus or Rakan angle for MDK. I think of the two, Rakan's certainly better. Alistar also up there. I think that would fit well to Alvaro's wheelhouse, considering you kind of want to get as many targets locked up as possible to allow for your burst combos to land and stick. FNATIC, their response was to lock in the Jhin. I mean, it's a Jhin. I'm never a big fan of Jhin in the current day and age. It's a pick that kind of lacks a lot of damage, and you're kind of a utility ADC. I love when I say utility ADC about Jhin, because it triggers people for some reason in solo queue. Regardless of that, MDK locking the Poppy, I like it. It counters quite a lot of options, and this is surprisingly a comp for Super. Sorry, yeah, for Super as the main carry, and not either for Scowy or Merwin. For Scowy, he's probably going to act as the secondary carry, but Merwin not on a range top. Going into a Rumble, Cassante safe option for him, clearly. It is a bit surprising to see, though, from MDK, as usually you'd expect him to play a range matchup into the Rumble and just kind of deal with him that way. This time, opting for the Cassante, so you're trying to just resist him. The big thing, though, about MDK's comp is obviously the lack of AP, and Poppy's in the support role. We didn't touch on it, but essentially, MF being the only AP viable source, I guess Ezreal does have them unique AP builds that aren't really that prevalent, I guess. But I would say that, realistically speaking, I think that Poppy is, well, a good option here. I just don't like Jin. Why are they measuring their own PPs? Like, that is such a weird thing to see on broadcast. Anyway, flashing lights are on us like it has been on me all yesterday evening. God save my brain, because I'm probably going to have an epileptic fit for the amount of flashing lights I've seen. Regardless, we're into the game. Game number 1. Upper bracket final. Take a look at the ruins. First strike for Oscar Rinnan's Rumble. Does surprise me. Alvaro, a graduate of the Mickey X Hail of Blades Poppy. It's a strong option. You kind of look to lock up and just kill a target early. I think going into Jin especially, it's a phenomenal option, because Jin's very squishy, and the amount of damage done to you early just isn't that much. So you can kind of out-trade them very effectively. And I do overall like how MDK have set up. First strike Rumble does surprise me though, as I was saying. Obviously you're trying to get the flame spitters down to do basically all the work. And right now, just watching this trade, I mean, Poppy's going to pop a pot here. It's a 1-for-1 trade in pots. So both supports are pretty fine here. Expect Poppy, every time her passive comes back up, to go for a trade pattern. As you can see, just lands the auto attack, gets a nice support charge. That was an interesting... What? I'm sorry, what? I just want to see this again. So, Poppy gets stunned. Gets hit by that. Either Noah mistimed that. He couldn't have mistimed that. Or the damage just... Because no... Because... It hits. What? It does the minion tank the stun? Because I would have thought... I'm actually intrigued by this, so we're going to do some on-screen Googling. So, I know it's a very strong ability, the Deadly Flourish. Right. So they're marked. So why didn't Poppy get rooted there? Because clearly damage hit. Or was it an auto that landed? Okay. This intrigues me. No. He doesn't. So it... Why didn't it stun? Because I'm pretty sure it should have in that situation. Huh. Either way, it's a inconsequential trade, and I'm quickly going to do something. Anyway, let's continue forward. Trade comes through. Naturally, MF's content. She's just going to pick up all the CS. Mid, push in favor of Diaz early on. Makes a little sense. Corki, light on Qs. That's a bit of a trade into Alvaro. They are chipping away at his health bar. Both supports burnt all their pots. Biscuits coming through for everyone nearly except for the jungler and the support. That must be a common trait in terms of builds. Taking a look at how this bot lane's going to shape up. Level 2s came through at the same time, so no one's really going to win out on that regard. But the push is in favor of the MF. Obviously, FNATIC kind of focused down the Poppy instead of the minions, and Jin's overall wave clear early on is so atrocious that you kind of are expected to lose push. This is kind of a nice bit of minion killing there by Humanoid. Doesn't lose out, even in terms of wave state, with the Ezreal, who is going to TP back, realizes that Corki's going to get push in, so doesn't want to risk losing CS. Very smart overall. We haven't really focused in on junglers, haven't needed to. MDK probably are well aware due to Razork hitting the Scryer's Bloom that he's on that side of the map. I'm actually surprised Alvaro walked up there to check that, because realistically speaking, they should have known it's gone, considering the fact that, well, Razork just showed where he was on the map. So, continuing forward, looking at how these matchups will shape up. Interesting first item picked up here for the Xante, immediately itemizing into the matchup with a null magic mantle. Going to be able to kind of do a little better into this Rumble matchup early on. Rumble typically has the better of the two, as the Flame Spitter cooldown just is very strong early, and your trade pattern on a Rumble is incredibly quick. So, as a whole, you favour that matchup. A couple of calls, or 3 calls exactly, picked up across the map. We're back in call season. Clearly, this is something that's being picked back up into the meta. With the fact that multiple ADCs are in the map, junglers are kind of tending more towards farming, as Noah's getting chunked. This Poppy has that aggressive trade pattern. But essentially, ADCs basically are just becoming more and more just farm bots. It's unfortunate, really, that the meta has de-evolved into just fight later, don't do anything stupid. But that's kind of the thing we expect in this meta. You have to realize we're closest to Worlds. Season finals is obviously a massive trophy for whoever wins. Obviously, FNATIC, whoever wins this series, finishes top 2, which will be a guaranteed World's group stage spot and not a play-ins, which overall is a fantastic prize. Do I think that the format of the LEC is flawed? Absolutely. I've said it since its initiation in this format. But I always feel you should give the better reward to the overall more consistent performer, and also to the team that basically wins the last title, to be honest. Anyway, Grubby's secured by Razork here for Dragon, so we get that nice little 1-for-1 trade. I would say that is, I think, early on more beneficial to FNATIC to get Grubs. I think that the overall pushing lanes, you kind of are reliant on top lane, so feeding the gold into Oscarinin makes some sense. Humanoid probably will start to get push, though don't expect it immediately. He is very much so now denying CS, and this is a typically strong thing to do. He's building up a slight advantage over Frescari, but this wave's gonna crash, and maybe we do get to see some Grubbies spawn. No, we do not. The wave's just gonna hit the tower. Frescari's gonna do actually quite well with picking up the wave. Bot side, we're getting just regular trade patterns, supports just tickling each other, and ADCs doing ADC things. There's not really much to talk about right now. The matchup's playing out as intended. Slow, methodicalness, and it is kind of a change of style, to be fair, from MDK that we saw at the start of the year. Winter, they were very aggressive, similar to FNATIC in terms of counter jungling effectively, but teams have kind of wised up to it, and Ayoria hasn't found that same success that he once would, and while he is able to secure vision, like we just see now, and is now going for an invade, this is few and far between, and this is the power of the Maokai, as the first possible tower dive can come through. In the dusk, hide MDK, baiting this play. Alvaro shows the make it rain comes down, but no play comes through just yet. Top side, that's the equalizer dropped. Gonna have to W out of that one, and Cassante gets to safety, but on the bot side, the Nature's Grasp comes through. Rel tanks the root, flashes towards the safety and tower, crash down onto no one, and the bullet time secures first blood. Curtains are opened, and that's just probably to clear the wave at this stage of the game. MDK on the board with the first kill of the game, and it's into probably the best person's hands. A super gonna go back to base, spend that gold. Early Bloodthirster, more than likely in his build path for right now. BF Sword, yep, that's looking bloodthirsty. But yeah, FNATIC, this situation, they're kind of reliant on their top half of the map. With how well actually the Rumble is doing right now. I didn't realize he had a 700 gold lead over his lane opponent. It does help that he's gotten 2 turret plates for himself, and this is smart from MDK. Realizing what is actually happening, you bring up your ADC who has now got a lead, push it into the Rumble who has the lead, but because you're MF that's got slightly more damage at this stage of the game comparative, you're gonna go and kill this Rumble. Turret dive begins, Alvaro shows up, isn't able to pick up his shielding, so he actually takes a lot of damage. Outside, Merwin gonna go unstoppable, but the roots and the stun's gonna come out from FNATIC. Void Grub's gonna be taken in response by MDK, but look how low Merwin's getting. He gets the pullback onto Razork, the true shot barrage, unable to get the trade back, and 4 members of FNATIC committed to the bot side map for a kill, whereas MDK trade it pretty effectively, I would say. They get the clap back in Void Grubs, I do think that this straight going over kind of evens that out, but as a whole, they got several turret plates into Super, which was kind of not matched by FNATIC. And we watched the dive again. It wasn't the cleanest of things. Once you get the W down, the deadly flourish a little early. The turret juggling pretty okay. But here we go. Essentially, Razork tanks it. That pullback with the Tofu strikes almost spelled Razork's demise. In fact, I think that it may have saved him, considering his pathing. Like, let's just go back to this. He's there. Okay, it didn't. The pullback. Yeah, no, No, it didn't save him. Never mind. I thought that Vrskowie's ult was more so down here and across, sorry, like that, rather than down here where it kind of misses the brush entirely. Anyway, neither by the by. Back into this bot side. This is the smart thing. Just putting the strong ADCs into the side lanes. FNATIC brings the humanoid down. He's surprisingly Vrskowie's kind of evened up that matchup, but humanoid's quite strong. Has got obviously a lot of poke, farming pretty freely, stacking up that cull, almost going to complete that. The only completed cull right now is on Super, who's got his first item complete already in the Bloodthirster. But Merwin, he's trapped again under the tower, just going to try and farm grass procs, and Tofu strikes, pulls Alvaro, John under tower, but FNATIC unable to get the kill. Looking to chase. Razork playing on the edge there. Tanked a tower shot he didn't need to. And MDK. Their top laner stays alive, but it's at the cost of their tower. That being said, Super does secure first tower blood. So that's kind of worth it for MDK. I'm going to say props to Merwin. Simply put, if he didn't stall or just buy time there and not die, FNATIC probably would have got first tower blood. Either way, Super's fed. That's the best way to word this. 1.3k over the Jhin. And that's winning across CS. It's winning in terms of turret plates, like fed into him solo, kills, and or even. But this MF just has been receiving far more in terms of free gold. The only thing that wasn't free was first blood. But once that was secured, she's just in a very strong state of mind at this stage of the game to just continue to apply pressure. And FNATIC, realistically speaking, I think will want a fight sooner. As Super's getting quite strong. He has got a barrier, which I failed to comment about. Barrier is kind of making its return back into the meta, as this just ADC safe item. It also is very much a better thing for the ADC to take over heal, as right now Warmogs just is so cost effective in the meta. You really just go first Warmogs as a support that's a tank, obviously, and then it kind of makes heal redundant as a whole, and barrier provides more like resistance to your ADC, so taking that over heal's smart. taking it over cleanse in certain situations probably isn't as smart. And this one I think is maybe one of them slightly yikes ones. I think if you cleanse the Deadly Flourish or the Q from Rel and immediately flash, you're kind of safe. But in this situation, actually looking at the game, I do believe Barrier is probably the best option for Super. Is you can cleanse one of the spells, but you can't really cleanse out of the Magnet Pool, sorry, the Magnet Storm, and the Cease and Desist. You're always going to have the Vi on top of you who can then Q you. It's just not worth taking. So I do value the Barrier take overall for Super, who's now just hit level 11, just looking at his little thing. And that's probably going to spell the demise of many people as he's on 2 items. Essence Reaver picked up, and that's very, very good for him. FNATIC right now playing towards their strong side. Rumble not up here, but instead it is Xante who was put behind. Humanoid very strong, and this tier 2 is being poked. The same trade's coming across on MDK's side as they've pushed up the bot lane to wave into the tier 2. But they're also going to get Drake on top of this. Meanwhile, FNATIC probably will kill this Xante. Good all out, but it is not enough, as he really should have gone all in. Showstopping absolutely no one there. I'm just realizing I'm saying the name of an AEW pay-per-view that's coming up in 2 weeks. I went to watch the pre-sequel yesterday. Regardless, back into the game. Let's talk about Jhin. Static Shiv. I get why you pick it up as an item. It just provides so much more wave clear and push to deal with enemies. On a Jhin, not the best, to be honest. I get how easy it is to proc it with the W, as we just saw there. But with... I don't like Jhin in this current meta. Lethality kind of is bad for ADCs right now. It's why Varus is no longer in meta. It's why you see these more bloodthirster builds, Static Shiv-esque champions, the likes of the Kaiser, the MF in this situation. Jinx is there, partially. But Jhin as a whole, in this meta, just doesn't sit right to me. Corki is probably a far better ADC, and he doesn't really go to Static Shiv build. So, how are we progressing? 18 minutes into the game. Waves stay in mid, even. No one's pushing. Bot side's going to get pushed in here by Friscowy. Top side pushed in by Oscarinin. And we're kind of seeing this similar trade pattern of control. But we are going to get a fight here, as immediately that's going to be a dead Jhin. Raise up, force a run, but he ceases and desists into a bullet time that flies and kills off Humanoid. The trade back's not going to come through, as that's a double kill over to Super on the top side of things. Jhin gets tagged by a True Shot Barrage, but still manages to stay alive and get away. MDK, they find a fight. They get 3 kills and a lot of money into Super's back pocket, but Alvaro gets another. That's the power of Hail of Blades Poppy, baby. Getting the kill, killing off a squishy Jhin, and absolutely demolishing FNATIC right now. That's how you turn the switch and turn this game into a 5-2 kill score. They're possibly going to get another. Jhin isolated, unable to get away. He crashes down. The Magnet Storm comes through again, but hey, it's a free and easy kill over to MDK, who are turning straight towards Baron. Hopefully, There's a replay of this fight. Razorhawk. I mean, we know Merwin was on a ward. Baron's getting low, below 50%. Merwin's buying time. They've caught out the jungler. The burst combo comes through, and Super's on a rampage. And this Baron almost certainly will be secure. That looked close. Secured by MDK. Let's get into this one then. Initially, it's just Super free firing. Merwin and Super just catch him out and kill off Jund. So there's no real disengage, no lockdown onto Super. And Razork gets tagged up and killed. Poor back. The issue with that back there is it's quicker to walk back to Fountain in that situation than take the full recall. It's a sloppy mistake there by Noah, which as a whole it's punishing, as it's given FNATIC a bit of a deficit to try and claw themselves out of. Regardless of this, MDK gonna use this advantage that they have got for themselves to start the siege. Mid lane tier 2 being taken very quickly. Top lane tier 2 starting to be chunked by cannons. That's a catch out. They're gonna kill off Alvaro there, as they invest the Rel ultimate to get it. And the equalizer, but equalizer's on a shorter cooldown. No one really cares. MDK trying a FNATIC brush on FNATIC, and it pays off nearly. Jund taken incredibly low. The bullets fly, and Super gets another. They're looking to continue to chase. Elyoya stepping forward. He sees Oscarinin in his sights to make it rain. Only does a little bit of scrape damage to Oscarinin. Doesn't get the full stun. And instead, MDK, they get one kill and are going to try and turn that into a tier 2 in the bot lane. It certainly looks like it's going to fall with the Void Grubs. Oscarinin stepped in a little bit too far forward, forced the flash. And now, the siege just continues. It's so hard for a Jin to clear waves at this stage of the game that Humanoid's been forced to be brought down to minion duty. Now, Soul Point going to be secured by MDK. We've got a fight to break down. Okay. FNATIC brush. Boop. Oh yeah, just lands a twisted fence. Good flash by Jund to get away. But when Razork commits, there's no escape tools for the Vi. And she gets deleted. The bullet time just clean from Super there to get that one. "24 minutes on the clock. 3 Drakes to 1. A 3k gold advantage to MDK. And I want to talk about some items that have come through. Warmugs, especially. 1, 2, and then there is one on Jund, but that's probably not being activated right now. So, essentially, you need 1,500 health bonus for that to work, as Nature's Grouse is going to be thrown out here. Alvaro's going to land a root. It's an easy breezy kill for Super. He's probably closing in on Legendary, as we do see in the picture-in-picture Humanoid securing bot lane tier 2. And he's just being a nuisance on sides. Razork's in a weird situation, but MDK, they realize 2 players of FNATIC botside map means that they get a free tier 2 top a lot of easy gold going into their back pockets as they're setting up another death brush. Will Jun fall to this one? He will not. Fairly wary of that one, I feel, considering what happened last time they stepped up into the unknown. MDK pushed the gold lead slightly up to, I'd say, 4k now, but we're not there just yet. But they are pushing in an advantage and trying to crack open these inhibitor towers, but not able to do so just yet. Jun gonna be rooted up here. Here comes FNATIC's dive. They get onto Super, but he gets so much safety from the Poppy, just yeeting them out the fight. Oscarinin does well to make his way out of that one, and no one dies. Here's the more important thing. Let's take stock of what was actually invested though. Flash on Alyoya for presumably Ignite on Jun. There was, of course, all of Super Sum's gone for Scowie's burnt TP. And the Flash and Ignite on the Poppy's gone as well. So MDK actually invested quite a bit there. And it's a big investment because the ultis don't really mean much, but the safety matters more, and when you don't have them tools, you almost sit and duck. And Super, let's be honest, he's very lucky to be alive still. Obviously he has that Bloodthirster, so he can top his health bar up quite quickly if he does take damage. But right now, MDK just gatekeeping this Baron pit, not allowing FNATIC to step up. And this is interesting as a TP flank comes through. Razor caught off to the side and just being ran down by Frescowie. MDK have found their man as they kill off the enemy jungler. They're continuing forward as Merwin pulls back Humanoid. It's a kill frenzy for MDK as they get to take away the lives of their biggest threats. Down go the jungler, down go the mid laner, and Baron's gonna go down in almost a few seconds. I'm just looking at the map positioning. Alvaro kind of gatekeeping this river. It's certainly setting up for FNATIC, well, from MDK's Baron take, FNATIC's last ditch attempt to make any form of play in this game. Because one soul secured, Infernal Soul on an MF. Yeah, that's a massive burst combo waiting to happen. Biggity boggity boo, Infernal Soul secured. Let's watch this fight again. Razor just isolated himself. The Nature's Grass does its job. And Elio is extremely tanky. Merwin's TP resulted in backline access, which meant that Humanoid was getting pulled in. And yeah, FNATIC couldn't really fight. They were on the full retreat once that Nature's Grass came through, and then their jungler got caught out. Simple as that. Now, FNATIC, what can you do in this situation? They've looked to have caught out Super, but that's a massive status. In from the backside comes the Nature's Grass, and they've killed off Razork. MDK stepping forward, the bullets fly as it's a double kill as down goes everyone on FNATIC. The only one left alive is Oscarinin, but what can he do? He does have an equalizer, but there's no way to equalize this game from here. The Baron buff minions are gonna hit the tower, and the Nexus will be exposed. Down goes the Rumble, and down goes game number 1 in favor of MDK. One nothing over to the Spanish org, who's just turned their run of form into a story. let's be honest. We discussed how since Madrid they've been almost flawless. Here and now, going into FNATIC game number 2 with a lead over a team that everyone expects to make it to World. Obviously, we know how it's turned out now. But to be honest, let's take a look at game number 2. MDK stay on blue, FNATIC on red. Bans so far have stayed the same. Azir, Lilia, Yone removed. Expect, presumably, an MF ban here. FNATIC probably don't want to play it. Smolder, very good, very flexible in MDK's hand. So that gets taken away. Ash removed now on the Mad Lad's side. And MF, there you go. There's the change up from game 1. FNATIC not going to run the salty run back. Instead, going to go for something new. Force Madlions to change. Zeri's open. What else is there? Kaiser open. Corki, I think, is probably one of the more prevalent picks. In actuality, they find the Vi more impactful. FNATIC could run a salty run back of their own and just take Mao. On a 1 with Corki. 1-2. That's actually a powerful combo if you think about it. The Corki rockets into rooted targets. Sign me up to that, please. If they don't go for that, they'll probably go for Sedge. I think it's more of a potent option. Okay, they're just going to lock in the Ezreal and take away that pick. That does leave open some decent options for MDK. I think give Zeri to Super and you're fine. I rate his Zeri a lot. You need some engage alongside this Vi as well, so Rel could come through as a 3. But Zeri's more than likely a lock. Rel here would work. To be honest, you could even go Lulu. If you want to lock in support here, go Enchanter. I think Lulu would work as an angle solely. Okay, it's a Kaiser, so they're just going to try and match here. So we're going to have to go into ban phase 2, presumably with the same champions, well, roles open. Maokai locked in, there you go. So support's left open. Braum, Nautilus, Rakan, Rel. It's whether or not these two teams want to ban just pure supports. It's looking like it. Rakan, Braum removed. Alistar and Rel are the other 2 options. Nautilus there as well. I think that you can't ban all the supports in the world, so you're probably going to have to ban... What's the open role? Top lane? Cannon? Rumble? Do we see them banned out here? I think that they, as a whole, are the best options for top lane right now. Renekton's safe option, Cassante. I do think that MDK probably will ban the Rel. There you go. I don't even get to finish my train of thought. That gets banned here, so it does leave open Alistar, Leona, the other one. Nautilus as well. And yeah, MDK kind of round out their comp with a similar style to game number 1. It's not the Ezreal poke in mid lane, it's the Kaiser. And you've got the same safe top. You've got hard engage jungler. And there's the Poppy. Okay. So, Poppy going into the hands of Oscarinin this time. So, we've got 2 bruiser picks in the top lane. Junglers both want to engage on one another. I favour FNATIC's engage slightly more. Corki, Ezreal poke. It's a prevalent combo. Sure, it's no bullet time from MF, but FNATIC's consistent damage is very powerful with a lot of lockup. You got the Solar Flare, the Shield of Daybreak from the Leona, the Zenith Blade to get in there as well. Poppy's just got so much in terms of lockup and just outright nasty abilities. And then you've got the Maokai on top of it. Twisted Advance, Nature's Grasp, then you've got the Bramble Smash as well. So much could be done to root targets and keep them at bay. The MDK are gonna have to do a lot of work here to keep them two carries alive. It's why I personally would have preferred Enchanter support, because in this situation, a Lulu would have appealed so much more for the Zeri. And right now, Nautilus is kind of in a situation where you're more than likely playing counter engage to FNATIC. And as such, it's actually Zeri in the mid lane. That's surprising. I would have thought that Zeri might have gone into the bot lane. Instead, Frascari piloting the pick. So, let's continue forward with how everything is shaping up. Oh, LEC. Please give me them ruins. There we go. Grass Poppy. I mean, it makes more sense than Hellblades, because it's in the top lane. Favorable trade patterns of top laners where you just farm health off the other and build up your own resistances. FNATIC setting up a little bit of a bush bait. Words are hard sometimes. Frascari playing on the edge. And yeah, stepping forward. Leo is going to be spotted here with the ward from Razor. Good clear of it, by the way. FNATIC trying to trade back. And yeah, Razor bullied out on the bot side map. FNATIC should kind of split this one. On anything, it's going to be like that. Down the riverbed. And that's going to probably... he's not. He's going to just take the Raptors. I'm actually surprised by that. I would have preferred maybe a split map state. Because top lane, you can't really play towards. You're kind of relying on mid. So, realistically speaking, it's bot lane that the two junglers will probably mostly be playing for. This is actually pretty smart by MDK. The fact that Alvaro's walked up here, seen that red buff hadn't been taken, due to the fact that wave state for MDK was even, what we've potentially actually seen is it's just going to result in a one camp steal. That's it. Alyoya's not going to get anything back. So, while as a whole it's a slower clear for both junglers, the beneficial thing is Razor's going to be up A camp. That's what's happened here, if we want to explain it in basic terms. Razor gets the extra camp. It's slightly slower, obviously, because he's taking more, but it should allow for an easier clear overall, because he's clearing camp to camp and before his first reset. This is actually a scary position, because Alyoya can go for a gank here. Jun gonna play bodyguard a little bit, realizing the situation. And Alyoya tanks a bit of damage. Flash out there from Noah, but Jun's the target and he's taken incredibly low. But it's actually Alyoya who's getting bursted down. FNATIC responding in kindness to the gank play from MDK. And now it's 3v2 on the bot side, and they're just going to secure push. crash this wave into tower, which should give the free and easy back for Noah and Jun. This game state is similar to game 1, where a bot laner gets an early advantage and then becomes a mainstay threat to the opposition. And obviously, the last time we kind of looked at Noah on Ezreal was Summer Finals, where that fateful incident happened on the pick. FNATIC obviously have a lot of trust with him playing this, because obviously he's played it since then. But yeah, this champion, Ezreal, is one of them champions that feels good regardless of he's ahead or not. Just the fact that you can proc Sheen, farm up the tier, and you're good to go, to be honest. I'm interested by if he buys Cull. Obviously, he's actually missed the standard buy point for the item, as we already see Humanoid has his. And he's actually the only one in this game going for Cull. Zeri not going to be able to match it, went Vamp Scepter instead. So I like that more than anything, because it's to allow you to kind of sustain through the Corgi harassment. You're closing in on level 6. In fact, Humanoid's already level 6. So you kind of have to deal with the actual harassment that Corgi can put down. As you know, it's getting traded on aggressively. You know, someone's going to be burnt there. But this is an interesting thing that we're seeing right now. FNATIC got Drake in the bot side, whereas Void Groves are being taken. And Razork's actually stepping up to contest, because he realizes his bot lane's got free roam up here. Humanoid's in position to make a play as well, but top lane has come down, so Razork's actually going to probably get this Void Grub for free. Isn't even going to need to smite it, but as a whole, we look at this and we discuss what's happening. Essentially, Razork's just building up his lead. We've already kind of discussed that as a whole, and right now he's doing pretty good for himself. So where are we going right now? Well, bot lane is looking to be an angle, as the Zenith Blade's going to land. The roots and the stuns coming down onto this Nautilus, who's forced to go in, and there's a trade back as the Zeri gets the first kill. The Lightning Crash doing a lot of damage here, as Frescowy's continuing to chase. Jun being chipped away at here, but Frescowy's health bar is being burnt in tow. Jun gets out alive, but it is 1 kill over 2 MDK on Razork, of all people. And we haven't really looked at it yet, but Maokai's build looking to be probably a little bit more AP, building up that Leandries. So this is a change up from what we saw in game 1, where El Yo-Yo went for the more tanky team protective, where he took the Locket. This game, we're seeing a bit more of a damage orientated champion from Razork, who's building up the Leandries. Because I don't think he'll go Malignance or Blackfire Torch. It's certainly a Leandries angle rather than those items. So, topside, continual trades. Merwin's actually getting taken incredibly low. He does go all out, and that's going to be Alvaro missing the hook. Gets the knock up into the wall as that's a bad gank. Zenith Blade is an option, but he isn't going to be able to. There's the yeet out of the fight from Oscarinin. takes away the lockup, and MDK get absolutely nothing off the back of this play. The other big thing is Kaiserhold's down now. So she's got no real safety. Zenith played to try and secure minions. Fair enough. I see you, Jun. Always farming for the team. Anyway. MDK, I think, will be probably quite content with how that turned out. Though it hasn't really given any advantage over to them. They get a couple of flashes. No, they don't. Do they? No. They got Jun's flash, I think. That's about it. I thought they got Oscar Innings off the back of it. Turns out the only one who flashed was Merlin. Which is... I mean, it's a Cassante. He's building up Iceborne Gauntlet, I think. To try and slow down targets. But, to be honest, the top laner's matchup means nothing. Like, they'll become big, beefy monsters that won't die. I like this from, Screening, by the way, trying to set up the freeze in front of his tower. Just to, essentially force a stacking wave in favor of FNATIC in the bot lane. To try and kind of bring him down to the bot side of the map. But what we're seeing is actually gonna be a trade. It's Drake over to MDK, Grubby's over to FNATIC. We've kind of seen this handshake in game 1 where Grubs were taken by MDK, FNATIC took Drake. Now it's the opposite. So this isn't a thing we haven't seen yet, and probably will be the standard throughout this game. Anyway, top side, Nature's Grass is going to be used. TP also invested here. Humanoid joins the play. Moen's going to come in soon enough. Actually, it's for Scowie, who's isolated now. The repeat dive can come through as the support is gone. Down goes for Scowie as Noah gets on the board. It will be traded back though as Jun finds the pick. Bottom side map, Oscar in and forced to flash away. The Untofo strikes, not in range. The stuns land. Oscar Rinnan's on the tower, lands a beautiful ulti. The tower shots, not enough to take down anyone MDK. And Oscar Rinnan, he's comfy, taunting in their faces. He just outplays them to perfection. MDK, they're losing out on these plays as we watch this tower dive again. Nature's Grass comes through. Alvaro stays on the tower. Solar Flare. Zenith Blade. Q from the Leona secures the first kill of this fight. Then it's for Scary isolated. The Lightning Crash does a lot of damage. In fact, it causes John to get quite low. But in the end, a nice Void Seeker from Super secures a trade back. And MDK, well, MDK or MDK, and on the back foot in this one. Game 1, they were certainly playing for even states, and as well as a more advantageous one with the Drakes that they have taken. Now, Merlin's being threatened again. Razork uses Nature's Grass. Gonna get the W out from Cassante. They could still look for dive, but the wave's dying too quick. And Razork is not feeling it because the collapse was coming through from the Mad Lions. So, as we continue forward, Herald spawning in 20 seconds. Items, well, first items are complete across the board except for Oscar Rinnan, which is surprising. And the spores, but we don't care about them. A lot of tiers being stacked. I'm presuming Oscar will turn that Barmies into Sunfire Cape when he can. As that's an engage here from Leona, Zenith Blaze lands, and a Solar Flare, and that's a massive amount of damage as down goes Alvaro. On the other side of things, Oscar's looking to collapse into Frascari, but look at the ulti he does. Bye-bye to the Kaiser, and the continual trade out here from FNATIC as they look to get more all-out comes through as Oscar Rinning taken incredibly low. But no one on FNATIC is dying. The flash over the wall and the killer instinct gonna be enough maybe to get Super out alive. But Humanoid is chasing, and so is the rest of FNATIC as Noah keeps landing them Qs and getting FNATIC further and further ahead in this game. This is certainly a more dominant FNATIC than what we saw in game number 1. And we watch this fight again. Immediately, when you see a Leona going head first into 2 members, you don't expect that much backup to just instantly delete you. You think, maybe we get out alive. Anyway, Oscar Rinning doing so much work in this fight. Just locking down the targets, then the follow-up from Alioya just secures so much more for FNATIC. Humanoid then is like, okay, I need to get these kills, flashing over the wall, immediately chasing down Super. No mana really on the Kaiser, means that she's realistically just dead. The cooldowns weren't there for her, and FNATIC get a lot of gold into their back pockets, Herald to boot. So they have the ability to play around that. I'm looking at this Drake timer being 0 as that's up on the board. FNATIC could look for an angle to drop it, but they've spotted out Alioya, but Varo goes in. He's been to the Mickey X school of Nautilus, it seems. He definitely has been to a school for Poppy. This time, definitely for Nautilus, as down he goes. And yeah, MDK giving up this Drake after that pick for FNATIC. I think it's the wisest decision they could make. It didn't help that Alioya was kind of isolated on the wrong side of the map as well. But this is, oh, nice. Good work there by Noah to deny the bag. But this state of game, if we look at it, all red gold leads for FNATIC. Objectives in their back pockets. They're ready to go, I think, for pushing towards Baron setup, which is up in 2 minutes. I'm just looking at the map at how the Baron vision is looking. There's no real wards into the river just yet. One on their edge of their side of the map. Humanoid's TPing to the bot side, and it's a collapse onto Merwin. Humanoid's got a lot of damage now, and he's certainly doing enough work. True Shot Barrage lands as well. Give another assist over to Noah, and FNATIC could go towards this tier 2. They've got the Herald in Razorhawk's back pocket. I'm interested to see if they invest it. They will not. They get the bags out from MDK, and that's going to be it. I think they'll be happy with that one. Realizing they don't need to waste it just yet. Plenty of time on that objective. And they'll probably more than likely look to use it for what I would say a Drake play, or a minute's time, I think. That being said, I could be completely wrong, as that top lane tier 2 does look pretty tasty, as there's no one else here to defend it other than Merwin, and we've already seen what happens when MDK leave their top laner isolated. He just gets deleted by 4 members. So What's the overall cost here? Well, it's a tier 1 in the bot lane for a tier... I'm pretty sure they got the tier 2 on the top. Yeah, they got the tier 2 on the top. So, overall, a better trade for FNATIC. And here, what we're going to see is just some bullying. Alvaro's being forced back, can't step forward without any backup, as MDK just don't have the strength. Again, Super's back gets denied by Noah, and it's because he's still on where the wave paths, so he gets cancelled. Simple as that. I'm actually surprised, by the way, by this Kaiser build. Not static shift first for either of the ADCs on MDK. They're both static shift ADCs that I rate as such, and you kind of take it to clear waves. So, with the fact that there's a Corki and Ez on the other side of the map, who just clear pretty effortlessly, like 1Q would kill a minion if Noah could hit it. Instead, he's missing. But yeah, this is so effortless for Noah to clear a wave compared to the Zeri. So I really would have preferred going for the static Shiv first. It looks to be like she's going for it now, or Hurricane. So one of the AoE items that a ADC can take is going to go into the back pocket of Frescowy. Rage Blade for the Kaiser. Obviously, trying to build up that AP damage as well as the attack speed. It's, I'd say, standard. Because you also have the bulk for attack speed and attack damage, so I get why you're doing it, but I'd much rather like to see a static Shiv here. Anyway, Super just takes a massive chunk of damage, hit by the True Shot Barrage. The Bork keeping her basically alive due to the sustain it provides. But not enough damage on FNATIC's side of the map just yet to kill her. But that will soon enough change once these carries hit 3 items. Obviously, Humanoid farming up a Storm right now, sitting 35 CS ahead of his lane counterpart, and it's probably going to shrink a little bit now due to Hurricane's been picked up for Scowy. But Scowy has to be careful here. Oscarinin does do a lot of damage, even if he doesn't build for it. Is Soul Point going to be secured here by FNATIC? And this game state, this very, very, I would say, strong state of game for FNATIC, probably is going to force Mad to do something stupid. The issue for FNATIC right now is they lack vision around this Baron. Blue trinkets are ready to kind of see if MDK are on it, but there's no real means to check it other than that. Once they're both used, you're kind of reliant on Jun stepping forward to get vision. But if he doesn't have backup like he has now, MDK will punish. And this is what FNATIC have been needing to do. Bully MDK out of their jungle, secure vision around this Baron pit, and then essentially punish. The issue for FNATIC is Ayoya's missing, and he is hunting. He spotted Humanoid. He's gonna charge in, and they lock up the Corki. Down he goes. It's a shame it goes over to Alvaro, but it's a pick nonetheless. MDK are looking for more as that is Razork taking a chunk of damage, and Nature's Grass comes through as the Solar Flare is used as well, but El Yoya going to be the first casualty of the fight. The continual trade through, as this is Noah's reign of terror. He fires in the autos, he fires in the Qs, these Mystic shots are hurting, and Razork be killing. It's a clean fight for FNATIC as they turn around the pick. Baron also gonna go over, and we get to watch this again, hopefully, and we can kind of discuss the overstay by MDK. Now, I understand why they do it. They need to get their jungler out firstly from behind FNATIC, but they also want to secure some vision, don't forget. This initial pick, great, the Q allows for the killer instinct. Good hook from Alvaro to not allow any further follow-up play, but this is greedy. Going into Razork, chasing him down a little bit too far, you get rooted, you get so much damage put down onto you, and you're just dead. Noah's just free-firing in all of this, because MDK can't get onto him. And that's due to how tanky the front line of FNATIC is. And when essentially a pick like that gets offered to you if you're MDK, that's why they take it. The issue is, you can't overstay your welcome once you get your reward. Nature's Grass is going to be thrown out just to secure the tier 2. That tool's not going to be available for another, I'd say 30-40 seconds, but FNATIC might not need it as they've caught out Merwin and deleted him off the rift. Scowie's going to, sorry, Super's going to be forced back to his base after securing tier 2, say tier 1 in mid lane, not even paying attention, but the lightning crash going to be used here, and the fight's going to continue as El Yoya going to be isolated off from the rest of his team thanks to the Poppy. Humanoid's going to be the benefactor of that one, and what can MDK do in this situation? It's a 3v5, and it's going to be a 2v5 in a second. As for Scowie's being ran down, going to be deleted under the tower to keep his verdict, doing so much work, and that's going to be an ace for FNATIC as they absolutely destroy MDK in game number 2. Game number 1, I wouldn't say it was one-sided for MDK, but FNATIC really couldn't find a footing in that game. In this game, where they get the power picks, they don't opt in for a Jhin. They find the way to win. I'm going to skip ahead a couple of games into game number 5. The decider, the game that I've not actually watched yet. I've watched all of the others except this one because I wanted some surprise, but let's discuss game 3, game 4 on GOL, and there's quite a bit to say here, as I just finished my drink, because I forgot I was screaming all evening yesterday, so my throat is in a poor situation. And my dogs apparently can hear me. Ha ha ha. So, game number 4, 3, we're on 3, is the longest of the series by a little bit. And we take a look at the pick band. Smolder, Corki, Braum, Ezreal, Zeri, Azir, Yone, Renekton. Renekton being the first big change in the bands, Corki the other. And that forces some weird picks from MDK. Nidalee top, we've seen Merwin play it. AD-wise, I don't rate it too much. We've got Tristana. The Ashe finally being allowed into the series. But this is a losing comp. Because FNATIC go Enchanter. Ivan just is so strong right now in terms of protection and enchanterness that you really can't deal with it. The MF is like through, and if we look at Game 3 stats, it's because FNATIC are on blue. That's the easy way to look at it. Nah top into Nida, and that gold graph, shaky in some regards. It was even until it wasn't, and they were losing until they weren't. I know the quote is, we were winning until we weren't, but hey. This game state, I mean, clearly, big fight at 27 minutes led to Baron and a 5k, almost 6k gold lead for MDK, but it looks like throne fight after throne fight. Like, one fight here they lose, another fight here they lose. I'm realizing I'm trying to show my mouse, but I'm not. But essentially, one fight loss here, one fight loss here, and then FNATIC presumably used the Baron to push and win. That's how it looks to me. But I'm looking at this section underneath, and FNATIC don't get a Baron, which is surprising. It means that MDK just threw, and they didn't get soul, but begs the question. I'm assuming what happened here was MDK steal Baron, or secure Baron, but FNATIC win the fight. I'm trying to remember this game as a whole, and yeah, that's probably the logical response, though I can't really remember it. It certainly was an MDK game that they threw, but that damage from the MF, just massive. Noah was untouched this entire game, it seemed. It was basically a battle of Trist and the MF. Holy moly, also his farm. Like, what is that? Gross. So, yeah, game number 3, a bit of a slugfest. MDK was winning until they weren't. Let's look at game 4. And let's discuss everything that's happened. Azir, Yone, Corki banned out by the Mad Lads. Smolder, MF, Maokai. So this is the change up. MF and Maokai removed. Clearly, teams are finding issue with that pick, and I like it being removed here. Ashe Lucian, second rotation, Varus Kennen. It does force the first mage mid, so I like it. Do I like the fact that there's a Nidalee still in the game? Not so much. But Elyoya's Ivan creeps its eerie head into this one. Both, like, G2, Mad, and FNATIC are kind of the pioneers of Ivan in Europe. I'm kind of glad they're all going towards as these teams that really like this pick. But let's just take a look. It's another one of those games where I think all 3 games that we've looked at recently have had one team leading for a period of time, then just a massive goal swing in one direction, and then maybe another back in the other way. It's insane to me to see that happen. But yeah, this one just looks like, again, a late game team fight goes in favor of MDK, and they just win the game off of it. That might just be me, but saying that, considering FNATIC had a one game fight and they just threw. But regardless, we are done with all 4 games that we need to break off. Before we get back into our live VOD right now, VOD review of game numero 5. My brain's slowly going into that state of tiredness that I just say random stuff. I can't wait for game 5. So let's get into this one. I am content that I am tired, but not content enough to stop streaming. So, Azir, Smolder, MF, Maokai, Yone, the other one, that have all seen bans in this series. Will it be the Mao and the Yone? Maokai and the Ashe also a possibility of a ban? How does FNATIC want to take this? MF removed, so they're probably going to stick with the Maokai 3rd ban for themselves. Ivan's removed off the table, so there's a change up. Clearly, no one's allowed to have fun with a tree in this series after 2 games of it being played. FNATIC round out their bans with, I hope it's Maokai. Please say big tree. There we go. The trees brothers are taken off the board. Zari, Azriel, Corki, all options available for these teams. I think we'll probably see all of them. Tristan is the other option that can come through. It's what FNATIC want to preface here. I think they'll go maybe for the Corki, and it's such a troll pick if they did it. Zari makes sense. It's surprising to see Zari. I don't normally think of that as a Noah pick. I certainly see him more as the facilitative, poke-harassive ADC rather than the heavy auto attack heavy champion player. So Zeri's a nice change of pace for me to see from him. Madlions, they're not pulling any punches. Tristana Braum coming through here, and it's just a lot of protection there. Obviously, we've seen how much damage Corki can do over the years. So going for this Braum to provide protection, certainly strong for it. Very smart. I'm actually surprised we see the Rakan here. Now, something they talked about on the desk, on the caster desk during one of the games, not in this one, I think it was a G2 BDS one, was typically when you see just a blind pick Braum, you go enchant a support into him to cause as much havoc as possible. I see the Lulu angle in this game with the Zeri. Like, we know it's going to be Zeri bot lane. Certainly not in Oscar and his hands. But, as a whole, you go for the Lulu here, so that you can buff up the Zeri. You also cause Braum so much havoc and just make it really hard for him. First game, actually, Lilia, I think, has made it through ban phase 1. But, yeah. It's going to be removed here. MDK, not going to pilot it. Neither team's going to pilot this series. And what will we see 4th pick? That would make so much sense. You need frontline for this comp if you're FNATIC. Protection for the Corki. Zeri can go more utilitarian facilitative. She can go more frontliney and kill people. So having the Sedge there is very nice. MDK probably will do a similar thing unless they want to go AP jungler. Brand Zyra up. They could go for that. I would like to see something a bit more AP-ish. And Mumu does have AP stats. That's a strong pick overall for Madlions, as you've got such solid engage there. The issue is, how do you follow up on the CC chain? Because Braum's going to require a lot of autos to get them concussive blows. And never mind, they're going to get auto attacks down from a Nidalee. I don't like this comp from MDK. But you gotta respect it. Sticking to their guns. As Nidalee, obviously, no, it shouldn't be my first time covering Nidalee top, but I've seen it before. The full AD build, obviously it was played in previous 2 games that we haven't watched, but this series, well, Merwin's Nidalee, needs to be said, just harasses. The issue for it in this game is top ban. There's a Nasus ban. Honestly, I don't like it. I think you probably should have banned the cannon or Rumble here. But as a whole, I do believe that MDK's bans, well, picks, Nidalee's going to get absolutely destroyed in the cannon matchup. That's basis 1. I think that when you look at how it goes, the matchup itself will be very much a one-sided thing past level 6. Pre-level 6, expect a Nidalee to harass. She does that. She's annoying and her very, very potent at it due to the fact that essentially she puts traps down. Once she gets some traps down, she becomes very hard to deal with. As if you walk into one, she just goes Cougar form and then starts landing attacks. It's very, very annoying. Anyway, onto the riff we are for game number 5 of the best of 5 to decide who goes to the season finals, grand finals. Will it be MDK? Will it be FNATIC? Only time will tell. Runes are on screen. Electrocute is the big thing I'm looking at in that top lane. Looking for the more trade aggressive sort of runes here for Oscar Rinnan. He's not gone for the likes of the Phase Rush Summoner Eerie, where you kind of are there to go in team fights and be the aggressor. This is a more so, I want to deal with my lane opponent, just land consistent damage. Sure, Sure, Electrocute's great in team fights. You're almost certainly going to guarantee a proc of it, but it's obviously you'd more likely see a different keystone if you were looking for the full burst. Like maybe even First Strike, for instance. Even Dark Harvest in some regards is better for the burst. Anyway, we take a look at the mid lane matchup. Tristan to Corki. Now, we've kind of seen the Zeri in this matchup already. It's very much a even trading sort of factor. That Trist in this one is far better than the Zeri due to the fact that the explosive charge does a little bit more in the early game comparative to Zeri's Qs. Now, do I think this will result in anything more than A little bit of damage here and there. Sure. Do I think that it matters? Probably not. But in the long run, these mid laners are looking to set up opportunities for their team to get ahead. And I think of the 3 lanes, I mean, MDK's bot lane and FNATIC's is very mobile. Top lane just is not the funnest of places to gank or invest time. As this is early game Mad that we've seen before, where they invest time into getting jungle camp stolen away, as Humanoid's going to be isolated in the tower. Forced to Valkyrie and flash away. Ayoya reciprocates with his own flash. And it's a flash for flash trade at the end of the day. On the other side of things, Kennen gets a little bit of a push in topside. TP burnt out from Merwin. And Azul Yo-Yo was actually forced away. And FNATIC knew where he was. Rezork's actually going to try and take this blue buff. In fact, I'm pretty sure he did take it with Smite. So, buff steal complete by Rezork here, keeping him in the lead over his lane opponent. And this is the early game counter jungling that I like to see. The aggression, playing around map knowledge, and turning it into small advantages. Now, I was just about to say, expect Frescari to rocket jump forward here, because Humanoid's health bar is just constantly being chipped away at. And this wave state was certainly very favourable for Frescari's bot side. Just a little bit of chip damage being thrown down here. Varo going to be the bearer of the bad news in that regard. And now we're kind of just starting to see some first backs coming through. Cole picked up here by Humanoid on his reset. Probably expect the same out from Noah here, who is just getting back, I feel. He'll go for his back now. There you go. Vamp Scepter for Tristana intrigues me, as Cool's not needed. And it's a kind of just a matching from Noah here. Just Vamp Scepter. Not gonna over commit to anything really. And yeah. Away we go. Topside, possibilities of a gank. Rezork spotted on the ward. Similar story for Jun, who he showed himself, but it's all a bait, as here comes Yamumu rocket jumping behind, but it does not matter as Humanoid gets the outplay. Continuing to trade, these rockets doing a lot of work. Exhaust thrown down onto Humanoid, but Amumu is the target as Sejuani gets into the play. MDK give over 2 kills and first blood to Humanoid. That's not good. I'm interested. The shield, it's just a good response from Jun. Then the Buster Shot from Triss launches Humanoid to safety. FNATIC almost overstay in the pit. Respect the fact that Ayoya can jump on them with the bandage toss. Does result though in 2 grubbies secured by MDK. And bot side, the lightning crash could be used here. Noah looking for the trade. He's got the press, the attack stacks down. It's just gonna be an ult burn here. Noah gets aggressive, but it's not gonna be much. Anyway, Razor can be jumped on here. Locked in place with concussive blows and deleted by super. MDK find a kill back, but that's not it. They're also going to get Drake here. Humanoid is going to be forced back. The knock up into the air. Good buffer there by Frescowi. The short buffer more than anything to get to safety. It's twice now I've seen Frescowi short rocket jump. So Jun may pick up on that and could kind of counteract it. That's just an observation more than anything, because if Frescowi's not taking the longer jumps and is kind of being lackluster with it, you can kind of punish that. So expect maybe Jun to pay another visit, maybe Razok joins him, and FNATIC get a pick. That's just my initial thought on this overall. I could be completely wrong, but we don't get to see all that. What we do see is the initial trade. As, again, the spot's just hovering mid. They've chosen their preferred ADC, it seemed. As Zeri left a free farm bot side, Ezreal going to match it. But FNATIC setting up on the top side. They're realizing they're in a losing state in terms of grubs. They realize they're also losing out on Drakes. So they should really try to steal away or take as many grubs as they can possibly get in the next in the next spawn, a minute 30 until that. And actually, Elyoya go for a cheeky invade. Was being dropped down. Mada trying to secure this top side of the map. Razor needs to be careful. As he steps too far forward, will be punished. Gonna respect it though. I like that. And now FNATIC spot the fact that MDK have left. Alvaro gonna be late to leaving. Stands to his teammate. And yeah. Mid. Humanoid's getting aggressive here. He's winning the trade. The Rocket's doing a lot of work. Gets the rocket jump out from Frescowi. The issue for Humanoid is he does not have health pots. Frescowi's is actually timed out, so never mind that point. MDK. They're doing work here. They're keeping their tower alive. Good work there by FNATIC to chip away and get a plate. And it's certainly looking pretty good in that overall. Bot side map though. We haven't really talked about it. Noah left in isolation. Could be hit with the bandage shot. Gets cleansed, burnt, and flashed on. Elyoya secures basically a solo bowler, but gotta say, it was assisted by Super. So, MDK get their play on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, FNATIC gonna get themselves the Void Grubs. To get actually up to 4 Void Grubbies is actually quite nice. Gets you a Void Might. It means that also MDK can't really stick around too much. As the fact that only Razok was taken means that bot side, they're just going to get an easy reset, not take too much more than that. Finally, we get to talk about topside. We haven't actually looked up here. And that's because there hasn't really been too much to discuss. Hextech Alternator versus Phage in terms of items, so we're not even near first item just yet. A slight lead for Merwin, though it is minimal at that. And yeah, to be honest, at this state of the game, I'm actually surprised how little has actually been paid to the top half of the map. It's been more about protecting the ADCs of mid, as well as kind of sacrificing parts of the bot lane to do so. As bot side right now, covered off by Humanoid and Super, so the ADCs with the most poke are matching up against one another, with Drake being a possible play. Grand Entrance could be used, and that is almost certainly a dead Rakan. Never mind, he gets out live, but the True Shot Barrage secures the kill. 4v3 as MDK looking to get more, as Super is just free firing in. These Mystic shots keep tagging for Scary. Rocket jumps forward as in the top side of the map. That's going to be Slicing Maelstrom used, but Nidalee just getting a massive trade out of this cannon. Humanoid trapped on the wrong side map. TP going to come in here as Oscar in. He doesn't have ulti, but he can keep his mid laner alive. There's a bounty on top of Humanoid right now, so FNATIC trying to keep him alive to not give over more gold than needs to. And yeah, it's gonna work out for them. The issue is though, Merwin, left in isolation and topside, does get to secure first tower for MDK, and in a space of like a couple of seconds, MDK have generated a lead for themselves, and we get to watch this play again. Simply put, Jung goes in, arcane shift away, and Super's just able to stay alive. He doesn't get punished, and then it's just a massive combo. Great buster shot there by Frascawi to knock in the Zari, but hey, Merwin, he's hunting. He secures Humanoid. What happened there? That should not happen in any state of the game. Corky should have been playing with more respect. So, away we go. Herald on the board. MDK looking to secure it. Varus stepping forward here. Could be baiting, could just be an absolute troll. Just trying to keep Razork away from the pit. Seems to be doing work here, but FNATIC are collapsing. That's going to be the lightning crash out. Herald's not going to be picked up here. And MDK knocked up into the air. Massive 3-man ulti from Jun. But there's the equalizing ult. The Curse of the Sad Mummy secures the trade back. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. But these ADCs are free firing on MDK's on the side of the map. They're looking to get more as for Scary's closing the distance. Not going to rocket jump over the wall. Don't know when he used it. He may not even have. And so MDK, they get themselves Herald. But it's a 1-for-1 trade. I think that's worth it considering mid-tier 1 falls. The Void Might's going to hit onto tier 2 as the second crash comes through. And that's going to probably be a dead tier 2. Overall, a very well executed play here from MDK. Though it won't be without some costs. MDK do lose their bot lane tier 1. But FNATIC, initially, this fight looked good, but it's when you realize you don't have the damage, things go awry. And just watch. It's a great 3-man, but Oscarinin can't get in. The Braum ult, perfect. Then the Amumu ult just meant that Oscarinin could not get in and follow up on the initial engage. If he did, that probably would have been a FNATIC 1 fight. But in the end, MDK come out on top, and Speaking of which, Alvaro's caught here, stunned in place. Gonna jump back to the safety of his top laner. And the Slicing Maelstrom was used there. Razork isolating himself. Forced to lock it. And now, Alioya could have gone a bit too far, but he does get Razork in the long run. MDK currently corralling FNATIC. Damage being just put down onto Thazriel as Oscarinin tagged by the Bramble and taken off the Rift. Dominance from Super. He's almost in a position to get more kills. Top lane tier 2 can start to be sieged on. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a demolished Nidalee. So these towers will start to crumble quickly. Bot side map. Frescary's just farming. He's just vibing. Kind of had to catch up to Humanoid here, who has been also farming up a storm, let's be honest. But yeah. Total gold. It's Super and Humanoid basically. Two fed members of each team. Both looking for a win. Win and you're in the season finals in Munich. You're in the grand finals as well. And you know, these two teams really won it. MDK especially continued to siege without Baron is actually surprising me. How aggressive they're playing. Because they're landing damage down onto the inhibitor tower. But you think about it, what can FNATIC do to match? There's Zeri and Corki are their only form of wave clear that can deal with it. Noah's just split pushing on his own in top lane. And what's the cost going to be for FNATIC? It looks to be this third Drake sole point. And this is an issue. MDK have had free reign over these Drakes, whereas FNATIC haven't really contested them. The only thing they've really contested are Void Grubs, and even then, they got split 4-2. And FNATIC, while they do come out advantageous in that trade, certainly will be looking for more. Now, while we were kind of ranting about how the map state and objective state is panning out, items have come on board for Noah. His second item, the Rune and Hurricane, a big pickup here, means that he does have the extra AoE damage, which is actually pretty nice considering the rest of his comp is pretty much AoE burst, so having a bit of AoE consistency is kind of good in the hood for FNC, because we look at the top lane, Proto Belt in the back pocket of Oscarinin, and he's going to probably be looking to yeet himself into the fight. He has got Flash up, so he could certainly flash over this Bramble now if he gets the angle. And that is the big statement. If we know that he's wanting it, but there's a lot that needs to happen, because he could get caught out there. That would have been interesting. That, to be fair, could have been the angle. So Merwin's just stepping forward, throwing out these spears. They're tagging on to members, but it isn't obviously a lot in damage. The full AD build from this Nidalee just is there to harass with autos. So landing Qs is a bonus really, but not the most beneficial of things, is it? Backs are getting denied here, and that's allowing MDK to start the Baron. FNATIC can't step up, realizing they have no vision. Blue Trinket on Noah isn't going to be invested. Instead, MDK peel off the Baron looking for a fight. But will FNATIC give it to them? Jun forced to jump away. Oscarinin forced to run away. And MDK, they push FNATIC back out once again from their jungle. The issue is, though, while that's happening, there was nothing really else gained on the map for MDK. But a deep TP comes in. Oscarinin's on the flank. I see the angle, and so does he. Humanoid shuts down Super, and Merwin falls alongside it. It's a clean engage from the FNATIC top laner. The flank perfection gives this Baron over. And MDK, I was praising their vision, how they've controlled this top side and map, controlled this top jungle. But the one place they don't have control is mid lane, as that TP flank was excellent. Let's take a look at it. Super oversteps. Immediate chase down. Surely when you see the Sedgwick get thrown at you, you should be worried. A massive grand entrance. Locks down the targets. And they're just deleted where they stand. Crisp, clean engage from FNATIC, who just get back onto the front foot. And this Baron probably is a more self-writing Baron rather than a base destruction one. I don't see them getting to tier 2 off of this. Considering we're at least a minute in, 2 minutes 40 on that clock of remaining Baron time. And just looking at the available gold, it's certainly more favourable to MDK, but only the slightest bit of a lead. Keep your eyes on Alyoya right now, looking for an flank, looking to land the curse of the Sand Mummy. And so is Raskawi. They're looking for the pick, but he's isolated. Could be caught out, will not be. Instead, it's just MDK pushing FNATIC back, it seemed. 4 seconds until Soul. FNATIC are looking to contest this. They have to contest this. Rizok tanking, as that's a massive Glacial Prism landing onto Merwin, slicing Maelstrom into the backline. They're just chasing down the target. Super gets deleted, and MDK forced to run. Alyoya isolated as Noah runs him down. FNATIC stop the Drake stack and kill off the two big members of MDK. This Baron, we said it wouldn't result in turret taking. It certainly resulted in advantage taking for FNATIC. Deny Soul, deny win options for MDK right now. And this jungle being claimed, it's turning into FNATIC side of the map. Finally, a tier 1 in mid lane going to be taken. The first tower off this Baron took. TP in. MDK looking to contest this, but Alvaro gets left. What was that? Why was the support even there? I get you'd kind of try and stop FNATIC from taking the tower so your TP can come through, but yikes. Anyway, another tier 2 falls in, this time in the mid lane. FNATIC used the drips and the drabs of that end of Baron power to get a couple of towers off the back of it. And now Madlions gonna need to do a lot here to get back into this one. As we watch this again, simply put, Oscarinin blast cones in, straight on top of Super, flash forward to chase him down. Once the lockup's there, John joins up with him just to ensure the pick is guaranteed. And there's no way then for MDK to continue fighting. They're looking for this. Super's caught. Gonna be hit by the Sejuani ult. Cleanses it. Bromel EUs. It's ult trade for cleanse and Bromel. That's a worthwhile trade if I am FNATIC, to be honest. And so we're starting to get to that stage of the game where things are getting scary. Bear in mind, this is a do-or-die game for both teams, and it looks like Frascali is going to be caught off here. Buster shot to force away Noah, but the charm comes through, looking to run him down. It's flash out from this Tristana, and MDK, they could have actually caught Outray's ult, but he's not alone. Oscar in him protecting, continuing to trade, and the damage though that this Nidalee is certainly doing with autos is very potent. But MDK, they force FNATIC back, looking for picks. Razork not gonna overstay his welcome. Oscar gets back. Humanoid just gonna play bouncer, protect his team to allow them to make it to the fountain. In a good way, make it to the fountain. But yeah, 40 seconds until Baron is on the table. These two teams probably will decide the fate of this game on this Baron play. And, you know, we need to take stock of how it looks. 2 items complete on this Nidalee. Building up to Leandri's. There you go, it's 3 items. Leandri's on the Amumu with Abyssal Helm. Bit weird to see Abyssal Helm here. I mean, it makes sense because you want to amplify Nidalee damage, but Nidalee built AD initially. So, hey, it's a weird build, to say the least. I'm not going to question it. I do not think it's the most optimal. I think maybe Warmogs would have been better, so you can survive the initial burst, but hey, you could have even gone Locket and kind of matched Sedge's presence in the game. But neither by the by, hopefully we get a fight soon. As the two teams starting to position around this Baron, vision lines being set up, and I just see a death cap in Oscarin's inventory, by the way. That certainly provides a little bit more combat advantage to FNATIC as they're looking to begin the fight, trying to catch one of these ADCs out. Keep your eye on Ayoya, who is off to the side. 20 seconds until this Drake. We've completely overlooked it. And now the Amumu spotted out. FNATIC, they know that 4 members of MDK are on this side of the map. Only Ayoya isolated, who is joining back up with his team. So this game state, push and pull, is certainly turning into an absolute scramble. So Ayoya misses the bandage toss. He does have a second in inventory. The angle's there for the engage, and that's actually a massive one from FNATIC. The exhaust is used, but Super's already taken low and out of the fight. MDK are gonna sacrifice their jungler and their support, and that's Drake Soul denied once again. As FNATIC, they win out another fight, and it's just, let's be honest, Oscar tunneling hard onto Super. They're not allowing this Ezreal to free hit into these fights, and Mad, they have to throw everything at him to deny his engage onto this Ezreal. And it's not enough. The exhaust used there, and we watch it again. Just watch Oscar the flank angle. No one spotted him. A great ult from Sedge. And while Elyoya's trying to guard using Curse of Sand Mummy, it just puts him in a bad situation where he gets deleted. And because he's out of it, there's no smite to secure for MDK, and thus Soul's denied once more. And this, the face of a man of, my job is just to run at him. That's it. Now, the good thing for Super is there's no flash on this Kennen, and he does have the Arcane Shift, so he can hopefully utilize that well. He does have Cleanse as well, so he can play this one certainly a lot better. than what Oscarinen can if a potential fight happens. Now, this is reliant on FNATIC giving MDK an opportunity to fight, because right now, this is the Siege Baron. This is the tier 2s and tier 3s being cracked open by FNATIC, as the last remaining T2 is going to fall here, secured by Noah, who has quite a quiet game, but he has got his IE as the initial engage comes through. Into the backline goes Jump, but he's unable to get too much done. FNATIC forced to retreat as the TP is going to come in here. That's going to be for Scowy, trying to join back up with his team. He walks over a ward, but MDK, they're realizing they can't continue the chase. FNATIC, get out. That's a lovely true shot barrage to deny bags. I'm gonna say it. But yeah, FNATIC actually probably content with getting the flash out from, sorry, not flash, the TP out from Friscawi. It forces Merwin to kind of have to sit inside to answer to these waves that Oscarinen's going to be pushing out. And that does mean that essentially you've not got your best wave clear inside. Nidalee is going to have to kind of play in an awkward state. And because of that, because of just FNATIC's map movements, they've just been gifted a tier 3 in mid lane. The inhibitor will almost certainly fall as well. Is Elio not able to get in with the bandage toss? Sejuani ult goes wide. And now FNATIC forced to run away. They get the tier 3. And that's all they came for. And, you know, they're starting to prep bot wave. Screen pushed it out, but they're not going to be able to get anything down there yet. There's another Drake fight on the horizon. A minute away from Soul once more for MDK. They're looking for a miracle fight because they've been losing the previous two. And FNATIC looking to get to Soul Point themselves. That would be a massive turnaround in terms of how that has gone. But the vision for FNATIC kind of lacking right now. In the spot side of the map, MDK done a good job to gain control of the river. True Shot Barrage not going to tag onto anyone. Sejuani goes forward, Alvaro tanks up damage. But FNATIC have a wave. They're getting into the base of MDK. Oscarinen going to deny backs, though two are going to go through. But FNATIC are just ending the game. The Nexus towers are falling. They've already managed to get a pick nearly as Merwin's taken low, but FNATIC are just ending. What was that? That is a miscall if I've ever seen it. Like, you give up mid control and lose? You shouldn't lose a game like that. Like, that's such a awkward, like, I'm intrigued. How does it get to that? Like, I get that you set up here. You set up. You control. You've set up your vision line. Realistically speaking, you should only have Elioya, like, hovering here. He's got the most health. I mean, you could keep Braum up here and kind of just tag team it. But when you've got 4 members in darkness, your 5th is where? Nowhere. Well, Merwin's bot side. Trying to regroup with the team. This situation, Super really needs to be cutting wave, but Razork's actually played this smart. Because Razork's gone in, he's kind of body blocking this minion line. So he's actually done a good job here. If anything, in this situation, Super should be kind of coming down here. Unfortunately, I do think in this situation as well, Merwin should be TPing to base. Like, there needs to be more of a reaction from MDK to protect their base. Because, like, only now they're backing after the wave has already passed them. Like, it's so slow in terms of reaction that FNATIC just punish. It doesn't help also that their double ADC's back on top of one another. And the back timings from Mad are just too disjointed. It's doomed at this state. And yeah, that was a bad one. It's a bad way to lose a game 5. Anyway, we've kind of covered it now. And we're heading into the grand finals and lower bracket finals this weekend. I'm going to have a lot more energy because we're covering FNATIC versus either MDK or G2, which is actually a banger series overall. And with that, thank you very much for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed Croaky Throat Me, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new and if you want to. And I will see you guys for grand finals predictions. Peace out. Actually, no. I'll do my prediction now. Because I can't predict multiple games. I'll do one that we can do. G2 MDK, G2 3-1. That's my prediction. If you want an explanation as to why I've gone 3-1, G2 are on a warpath. G2 have learned. MDK can't do what they did again, I don't think. So I also think that there was off days for certain players in that series. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys next Monday or Tuesday. Depends how I feel. Peace out.